What kind of male gaze fantasy is this?
It's Brittney, bitch.
So it is the start of yet again another reading vlog, and this time we are reading this behemoth. So we have Crescent City, aka House of Earth and Blood, and this came in quite a few weeks ago, so it's actually due really soon. And here's my problem with it. It's like 800 fucking pages, and I'm going on vacation next week, so I'm not taking this with me on vacation. And I have to return it literally like 2 days after I return from my vacation, so I want to finish before I go, because I'm not taking this fucking bitch all the way there and all the way back. It's not happening. It is way too heavy for that shit. I ain't gonna do it. I'm very concerned about this, because I want to finish this as soon as possible, but to get on track to finish this before I have to go on vacation, I'm gonna have to read like 100 plus a day, and I started this like 2 days ago and I've gotten 40 pages in. I also haven't been making time for reading, and that's okay. Like, I'm trying to make that okay, but with my work schedule, it's really rough. So I have to be okay with that, but I want to finish this before we leave. So I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do that, but I'm maybe just gonna have to like take a few hours and read this weekend, which I usually don't do, but I might just have to force myself to do it. So far it's not like terrible or anything, and it's a lot better already for me than the premise of A Court of Thorns and Roses, because I hate Beauty and the Beast retellings, and I forgot to talk about it in my ACOTAR video, but I forgot to mention the curse, which is again a part of the Beauty and the Beast story, which made a lot of sense. Like, I did not know that's what it was, especially like until we got all the way through, and then I was like, is that what I think it is? And yeah, it was terrible. I didn't really like it, so I'm having higher hopes for this one. It's a very big world. I've actually started taking notes on each person that's mentioned, but I stopped doing that because there's so many people mentioned, and I'm just trying to keep them straight in my head while trying to enjoy the story, which hasn't really gone super far anywhere, but so far I'm not hating it, and it's just a lot better than a young adult Beauty and the Beast retelling. Is it the best thing I've ever read so far? No, but I'm 40 pages in, so I gotta be nice to it. I have to give Sarah J. Maas another chance. And maybe this is it. I know a lot of people really enjoyed this. I think it's gonna be a 3 or 4 star series. I mean, book series. I'm so sorry. I'm way too tired for this. I'm just crossing my fingers that this shit is better than the last book I read of hers. I know this one's like twice the size, so I'm hoping for it, but a lot of people say it's pretty slow up until the 400 page point. And I've already read so many books that have been like 2 stars lately. I just really want an easy, fast, fun read for me. I'm not sure this is gonna be that. Hey guys, it's been quite a while since I've talked to you last. So I ended up going on my trip to Albuquerque, and I'm going to link that above. And we had a great time, but I didn't end up reading any of this when I was on the trip. And the reason was I knew I was not gonna be lugging this fucking 800 page book on a plane. It's not happening. So I ended up taking 2 smaller books and ended up reading those. So that was great. But now I'm back on this bullshit, and I left on page 430, and it's been a couple days, and I'm now on page 561, and let me tell you, I feel like nothing has still happened. Like, it's so frustrating because I really don't feel like anything has happened. Like, nothing interesting, and I don't care about any of these characters, and I'm like depressed in a way because I really want to like it. It's not a hard writing style to understand. I just don't care. I'm just really frustrated too because I really want to love Sarah J. Maas, but I didn't really enjoy the first book of her Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I'm not really liking this one. This one is an adult fantasy, so I like that. I mean, it's cool that they can use naughty words and whatever, but she's also really bad at building sexual tension for me, personally. Like, I feel like that's what she's trying to do between these 2 characters, and if you don't care about these 2 characters getting it on, like, half the book doesn't have any value to you, because otherwise it's just like a very poorly constructed murder mystery, and I just don't really care. So far there isn't enough like plot twists / reveals for me to be like, oh wow, that was cool, because I just don't care about any of the characters. I mean, all the characters I cared about were killed off on like page 60. So I just don't care anymore. And I just don't know why this has gone on for so long, because I feel like nothing has really happened. Like, there's a couple of plot points, but they should not take 500 pages to get there. Because I think she's trying to, like, bind us to these characters because it's supposed to be the first book in a series, but I really don't give a shit. I don't like our main character, Bryce. She just seems like the ultimate cool girl that, like, Sarah J. Maas wishes she was. Like, she has the perfect, voluptuous, plump body. Her titties are too big. Her ass is too big. She can't do ballet because she's too large and, like, delicious. And, like, number one, that is a thing for ballet. Like, I get it. But at the same time, she probably looks like a normal woman compared to, like, most people that do ballet or, like, other dance. So, a little frustrating. And she always wears high heels everywhere. And she always looks amazing. And she gets any man she wants. And I just really don't like that. And she's sexually promiscuous, which is fine, and she owns that. I just feel like she's like the ultimate cool girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, her as a person is the kind of woman that guys think all women are, but they're not, but they're trying to be. That's just my thing. Like, she goes out and she, like, jogs every morning, and she always looks amazing and walks around the house in matching panties. I'm like, what kind of male gaze fantasy is this? Was this written by a woman? I mean, the sad part is I just don't care. I don't care about Hunt, who is, like, the angel who's, like, sent to help her, I don't know, investigate this shoddy murder. And, like, I kind of care about the murder mystery, but at the same time, like, I just really don't. And I feel like the world building is just not great for me either. Like, I really wish I knew more about the world, like, in a way, like, how it came to be. Like, it's kind of getting there, but it's just taking way too long, and I just don't care. Like, it's just so sad, but I don't. Like, so far, this is looking like another 2-star read, and I don't know if anything's gonna bump it up to that. And I also, low-key, feel like, here's my suggestion, this should have been a second book. The first book should have followed the characters we loved, like the ones that got murdered on page 62 or whatever. I loved so many of those characters that were introduced in the beginning, and I was really excited, and then after they were killed off, I was like, why do I want to keep reading? I would have read a whole book with them and, like, their friendships, and, like, maybe them, like, taking down some, like, rude veneer queen or king. I don't know. That would have been interesting to me. I don't know. Like, that would have made sense. I would have wanted to read that, but following, like, our most annoying female character mixed with the most annoying male character. They're just, like, the perfectly, like, too hot for everyone else, and they're supposed to have this huge sexual tension. Like, they constantly are talking about it. I kind of love that sexual tension where it's not spoken about, and it's just, like, implied, but it's not, like, specifically, like, oh, I can envision her going down on me. Like, I don't care, because I don't care about you two getting it on, period, and the sexual tension is just not there for me. It's really not. Sarah J. Maas is trying to get you to feel the tension, but it's not there. Like, she's being overly explicit, but it doesn't make me exciting when you use the word, like, cock. Like, I don't care. That doesn't make me excited to see it. I don't care they're both, like, so hot and muscular and fit. Like, I don't care. It's not about that. It's about, like, getting in here. And I think she just does not do that for me. Maybe other people she does, but all her sexual tension in her books, like, sucked. I'm sorry, and that's kind of what I was reading for. I know she's known for being, like, smutty, but I feel like being overly gratuitous in, like, descriptions of things does not mean I'm going to connect to it / the language is emotive. It's not emotive at all. It honestly, they're just words on a page I'm trying to read through so I can finish this fucking thing this week. That's really all the update I have for you. Like, I just don't understand why this is going on for so long. I just want to finish it. Like, I just want to get it over with. It's October now. Like, I just want to get to my other spooky books. My books. I have a lot of other books planned, and I want to get to those. And I'm just trying to finish this because I'm already on page 561. Like, I'm almost there. I think it's exactly, like, 799 pages. So I'm hoping to finish it by this week, and then I can start some other stuff in a couple days. And that's my goal because I'm over it, and I'm sad. I wish I really enjoyed it, but the sad part is, too, is whenever I went on my trip, I didn't think about that book at all. Nope. I kind of forgot what it was about until I started rereading it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. They're on a murder mystery to find out who murdered their friends, and it's, like, a big thing from the governor to find out what happened, blah, 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 and they're supposed to be, like, falling for each other in the process, but I just don't care about either one of them or their tragic backstories. Like, I just don't care. I feel like they need more flaws other than being emotionally stunted. I feel like being emotionally stunted is such an overused flaw for people. I would like more. Bryce just seems like the sex-empowered sex vixen. That's all she seems to offer. She's very smart and clever, and the whole thing is like she like hates that men look at her boobs. I get it, girl. I feel you. But like, those aren't personality traits. Like, I wish there was a little bit more to her other than like her cute unicorn she's kept since she was like 12. Like, that's a cute little character flaw, but like, they're just too perfect. Like, I wish like they're too perfect. And I don't connect with a too perfect character. Do I look perfect? No, I'm trash right now. I want to read about trash. Stop giving me perfect garbage because it's not. I can see that you perfectly made perfect little halos and you're trying to disguise it as garbage, and it's not. I sound crazy. This is what this book has done to me. Anyway, I'm probably going to give you an update when I finish the book. So it's not a very long reading vlog because I just feel like there's nothing for me to talk to you about, / there was no like big reveals or things I cared about enough to talk about. It's so sad. It's such a big book, and I just feel like even after 100 pages, like nothing really happens. We find out like one other person was involved and they watched some other like sleazy show on TV. I don't fucking care. Hey guys, so I know I'm like an absolute mess right now, but I just want to get the end of this fucking thing over with because honestly, I think I'm gonna give Crescent City 1 star. I actually think it's worse than A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like, I honestly think it might be worse for multiple reasons. I don't want to spoil the plotline too much, but it doesn't even get interesting until like page like 600, and I don't think you should have to read 600 pages of a book for it to be good. I really don't think that that's what's supposed to happen. And she wrote this book like we already cared about the characters, and this was like the 8th book in an 8th book series. Like, that's how it felt. Like, I feel like I was already supposed to be connected to these characters, and all the favorite characters that I liked got killed off on like page 62, so there went that out the window. And then on top of that, like, we have the 2-dimensional shells of main characters that I don't care about whatsoever, and the plot was so predictable and boring and disorganized at the same time. Like, things would keep happening but you just don't care, and when there's like a plot reveal, I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I generally don't care about what's happening with these characters, so why would I care about the plot? And I just don't know how she managed to write it that way. Like, how did you write it like you were expecting us to love these characters already? I don't know. Like, you didn't show me why I should love these characters. Like, I don't care that all their friends died. Like, I literally don't care. I don't think I've ever been so disappointed wasting that many weeks of my life reading a book, because I technically took like 3 weeks reading this, split up, because I didn't even care about it when the first time I read it in the first place. I'm honestly just like so depressed that I wasted so much time on that book, and I'm like kind of in a reading slump, and I think I'm also just picking other books after that I just can't connect to. I can honestly tell you, I think that the book put me in a huge reading slump. Like, I don't care at all about anything because that book was so disappointing, because the world building just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just so convoluted and disorganized, and like there was never like a clear world for me. Like, there's so many aspects going on and so many things that she just never fully actualized and just like touched on. And like, I know it's supposed to be a series, but like usually in a series you want to like introduce things as they come. Like, I don't need you to talk about something I don't need to know. Like, no one forced me to read this, but I feel like you guys forced me to read this because everyone fucking talks about these books on YouTube. I'm not sick, I swear. They're just really bad allergies I just sneezed, okay? So like, everyone's talking about this stupid book, and everyone's rating it like 5 stars and 4 stars. And maybe I'm just not a Sarah J. Maas hole, but like, I don't really always care for her writing, and on top of it, I just don't care about the plot or the characters or the setting, and it just made the book so not okay for me. It wasn't terribly written. There was like literally one cute part. I liked the little fluffy pet that Bryce had. That's it. That's the only redeeming part of this, really. I also liked like two of the other characters, but they were such in short supply and I didn't know anything else about them. I'm just gonna blame you guys. I read this for y'all to do a reading blog. I have nothing to say. I have no idea how this received such high remarks, or the fact that like huge Sarah stans are on Goodreads like, oh, wait till page 700, the last 100 pages make it so much more worth it. It should never have to be like that. This book should have been 400 pages max. And there's so much of the story that could have been cut out, and it actually could have been interesting if they let it that way. It was so cringy parts too. Like, she was really forcing on like the sexualness of the two characters, Bryce and Hunt or whatever the fuck his name is, and it was so cringy. It didn't feel like natural sexual attraction, and I didn't care about either of them anyway, so I didn't really care about them being together. And she did swear a lot, which like doesn't bother me, but I feel like she was trying to make this like edgy and adult, but it didn't have adult writing. It felt like something a 12-year-old would write. This felt like a fan fiction. This felt like a fan fiction that she like wrote from other characters, because it's like we're supposed to already know these characters, if this makes any sense. I know this may be an unpopular opinion, but I just really don't know if Sarah J. Maas is that good of a writer. If I've read two of the beginning of her series books and they both kind of suck. I don't know. I've read so many other good books this year, and this is just one of my most disappointing, especially because I've read 800 fucking pages of this. 800! And I've only updated you like literally 3 times because I felt like I would go like 300 pages and I still had nothing to tell you. Like, I still have nothing that I felt like was of consequence or interest to tell you about. I mean, that's kind of like a big problem. Like, huge. Like, there's almost like too many people involved in the story for me to explain it to you. And at the same time, there's nothing happening that's interesting, even though it's moving the plot along. Like, it doesn't feel relevant / I don't care. I think that's the moral of the story. I just don't care about this at all. And I'm very sorry if you were a big Sarah J. Maas stan, but I'm going to try to read some of her other books, but I really don't know if I'm going to continue on in this series. I mean, it could be like a cool series. And I guess what's frustrating too about these kind of books is like, I could see the potential if she wasn't the one writing it. And that sounds so mean, because I mean no harm to her as a human being or as an author, because I realize those are very tough things to be, okay? But I just don't know if her writing is for me. I like some parts of her writing. I like that she kind of brings up people's hair color and eye color a lot, because it helps me remember who's who and stuff. And I think that's kind of a problem I have in other books where they completely lack that world building for me, because I really do like sometimes being reminded of like, oh, they have dark skin, oh, they have blue eyes. Like, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that person, especially when you don't see them as often. It's nice to kind of get a picture in your mind of what people look like, because I'm a very visual person. And I really like those visual triggers in books, especially why world building is so important to me. And I could definitely kind of picture the world, but the problem is like, I feel like she didn't have the rules set up very well in this world, and there's almost like too much history to unpack in one book. But the problem is she like unleashes it in a way that is super disorganized. So I just found myself not caring about this like giant republic and all the rules and things that, and the war that happened 300 years ago, because there's almost like too much. Like, there's too much for me to unpack, and I don't care about anyone in it, so why would I care about the world in general? I mean, there's like a few cool parts of it that would be really neat, but it just wasn't done well enough for me. It just really fell flat. I haven't even given this any review on Goodreads yet, because I just don't even know how to sum up exactly how I'm feeling about this. I'm just so disappointed and let down and like frustrated, because she took something that could be a really cool idea with so many different species of creatures living in the same world with different rules for different classes of creatures and humans, but it just wasn't done in a way that made sense. And it didn't need to be that long. It needed to be like max 400 to 500 pages. And that's really all I have for you. I'm so sorry. I really wish I had a more positive opinion of this. I wish I had something more intelligent to say and something a little more maybe philosophical. I don't know. I just did not like pretty much most things about this book. I mean, it was definitely readable. Her writing style is very easy, but it didn't evoke feelings or imagery or emotions. Like, it didn't affect me in the slightest, and I'm already forgetting what happened. I'm trying to remind myself to talk to you about what happened, but like it's literally going out of my brain so fast because I also can't remember where in the story things happened because I just didn't care about the storyline. So all in all, not a great reading vlog. I really wish there was more content for you. My deepest apologies. I also apologize for having like zero content for you in general right now. Life has just been really rough, and honestly I've been working like every weekend for like 3 months at my job because we have a special project. So I'm working 11 to 12 hour days 5 days a week, and then I'm working 8 hours on a weekend. So I'm basically working 6 days a week, and I have no time to edit or even film, and I'm not reading as much physically. I'm definitely listening to some audiobooks, which I can talk to you about in a wrap up, which I don't know when I'm gonna get around to filming or editing, but yeah, so I'm really sorry about that. I really wish I was one of those cool booktubers that had like 3 videos coming out a week. I have no idea how people do that. I literally don't know. I guess it must be their full-time thing, because a lot of booktubers I know don't have other jobs, but I'm obviously not there yet. So thanks for bearing with me. You're all very wonderful. I hope this was entertaining for you, even if I got to shit on a book that you loved. I'm so sorry, but I hope you found my criticisms valid, if you can call my complaining criticisms. So anyway, like, subscribe, join the tribe. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.